Everything you think you know about Wall Street and Washington is about to get turned upside down and dropped on its head. During this exclusive presentation, you will be invited to explore the cultural roots of the global financial meltdown and how we are in the midst of a final turning that will lead to economic cataclysm. I must warn you, what you are about to see will be offensive to some and disturbing to others. We won't pull punches. We will name names. In fact, the producers of this video unapologetically point fingers at the very people you may have voted for. Breaking their silence today will be former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations John Bolton, Lou Dobbs, the Wall Street Journal's John Fund, CNBC's Larry Kudlow, political commentator Dick Morris, and other champions of freedom. You deserve to know the truth as to how, why, and when the American dream was put to death. You also deserve to be equipped with precise solutions that will fortify your financial well-being. I'm talking about simple yet powerful solutions that you can start implementing within the next 30 minutes. Doesn't matter if you're retired or just starting to save for your golden years. The following presentation will give you the exact answers you need. At the very least, you will get the chance to walk away with a free DVD, a book that reveals 24 practical strategies to achieve superior wealth, and a new outlook on your financial future. So I encourage you to have a pen and paper handy in order to take some notes on the specific advice you're about to hear. So let's get started. September 18, 2008. That is the day capitalism collapsed and our economy crumbled. That is the day America frantically tumbled into a deep, dark financial abyss. And in order to show you how impactful that day was, I want to now share with you a clip from the groundbreaking documentary Generation Zero. But I must warn you, this video is unsettling.
We were facing something that was unique in all of human history.
It was one of the darkest days in this country.
The unthinkable became thinkable. But suddenly it was all interconnected.
Just one calamitous decision after another.
The entire global financial system would melt down. It was right there in the crosshairs.
How could so many authorities not have been able to predict this?
Those were very grim, dark days.
We were having an electronic run on the banks. They decided to close the operation, close down the money accounts. If they had not done that, their estimation was that by 2 o'clock that afternoon, $5.5 trillion would have been drawn out of the money market system of the United States, would have collapsed the entire economy of the United States, and within 24 hours, the world economy would have collapsed. It would have been the end of our economic system and our political system as we know it.
That absolutely jarring short clip you just experienced comes from the critically acclaimed Citizens United film, Generation Zero. Political analyst and Fox News contributor James Pinkerton called it the most important movie of the year. And in just a few minutes, we'll show you how to get this incredible production, Generation Zero, on DVD. More on that offer in a moment. But first, let's dissect the film further. In this riveting 90-minute documentary, you will discover that every society is subjected to a sequence of events called the 4 turnings. Turnings are like seasons. They are patterns that repeat themselves throughout history, with each turning lasting between 20 and 25 years. During these cycles, cities are founded, cities collapse. States rise and states fall. Families prosper and families wither. The 4 turnings are the high, the awakening, the unraveling, and finally, the final turn, the crisis, which we're experiencing right now. So the question is, what caused America to unravel so drastically that it led to our current economic meltdown? We'll share the startling and sobering answer shortly, but first let's look at another scene from Generation Zero to better understand the turnings that got us here in the first place.
series of turnings that are launched by a so-called crisis war. It's a time when there's a lot of genocide, a lot of killing, a lot of starvation, usually a lot of disease. It's the worst times in history. And once one of those is over, everybody, both the victors and the losers, make a vow that was so horrible, it should never be allowed to happen again. That's really the key to understanding what happens next.
The first turning is the high, like the 50s, that comes after the crisis. It's a period of consolidation. It's a period of stable families and stable family structures. Lots of kids are born, lots of infrastructure is built, but emotional life becomes more or less dead and begins to die out.
Baby boomers have no memory of World War II. Their childhood was the American high.
Next comes the awakening. The perfect little children of the high, like the boom generation, become young adults.
They came of age during that period of rapid social and cultural change when we changed everything about how we felt, how we thought, how we talked, how we dressed. We changed America's feelings about itself, our moral agenda.
Suddenly, their emotions break out and all hell breaks loose.
This became a generation of great passion, of youth anger that marked a rise in every age in drug use, teen pregnancy, crime, risk-taking, suicide.
So as you can see, the emergence of social irresponsibility and the beginnings of a self-indulgent culture planted the seeds that inevitably grew into our nation's tree of despair. Still coming up, we're going to tell you about a free offer that includes a copy of Generation Zero on DVD and another exciting gift. We'll also tell you why our current crisis is projected to last at least another 20 years. And we'll also give you very specific solutions that you can take today to not only survive financially, but actually prosper. However, before we do, it is important that we go back to the film to see exactly what happened and who was behind it to cause our financial infrastructure to unravel.
The conventional narrative is that the economic crisis, the financial crisis, exists because we have massive deregulation of the financial market.
The narrative is this: September 18th was when we all became really aware that markets were failing around us. They were failing like crazy. The next thing that we understood is that when markets fail, that means that capitalism has failed. Well, that narrative is wrong, just as the Great Depression narrative was wrong.
Reality is we had a marriage of big government and big business.
Deregulation is not the problem. We've had a high concentrations of power on Wall Street and in government, which has permitted people to abuse markets.
Reality is the chief beneficiaries were the big Wall Street investment firms who had taken these risky speculative investments and lost, and now wanted help from Washington.
It was a perfect example of capitalism working the way it's not supposed to work. People taking enormous risk and nothing behind them except an implicit taxpayer guarantee.
And the reality is we have privatized profits where Wall Street executives can take in tens of millions of dollars because of risky investments.
When their mistakes became obvious and the losses piled up, they ran to the federal government for help, and all of us, even though we had nothing to do with it, bailed them out.
I told you this would be disturbing to watch. So, we know that our current crisis, the final turning, began on September 18, 2008, and we know that these turnings last between 20 and 25 years. Does that mean we have to wait at least until 2028 for the economy to recover? Who can afford to wait that long? For those answers, we need to bring in a Wall Street insider. Joining us in a moment is a man who began his prosperous career on the front lines of the New York Mercantile Exchange. He later managed millions of dollars at a prestigious international firm and is now the editor of one of the most popular investment newsletters in America, The High Income Factor. Tom Hutchinson, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Tom, you've seen the film Generation Zero. It's sort of a financial Armageddon. It's grim, it's dark, and it basically says the future is bleak. How bad is it?
Look, for the average person, the situation is bad. And there's a lot of room for things to get worse. Here's why. Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke has lowered interest rates to 0%. This has sent traditional safe haven investment returns to lower than 1%. So these traditional safe haven investments are no longer a valid option. Many Americans have been forced to gamble their money in risky stocks, but like I said, our financial system will get worse. For example, many economists think we're witnessing inflation right now. Well, as they say, we ain't seen nothing yet. With the way our government is printing the US dollar, we'll likely see severe inflation hit in the next 2 to 5 years. Gas, food, utilities, everyday needs will choke off any hope of financial prosperity for those people who aren't prepared.
Tom, the film suggests it could be another 20 to 25 years before the economy sees any signs of improvement. Do you agree?
My research and resources suggest more like 15 years. But keep in mind, these 15 years will likely be worse than what we've experienced in the last few years. And it's also important to note that if our elected leaders don't learn from their mistakes in the past, if they keep spending, and if they let Wall Street go unchecked, America will never recover.
Well, Tom, you're the expert. If anybody knows how to survive this disaster and beat the system, it's you. How can one do it?
It's imperative for somebody to have targeted investments, investments that'll protect your wealth first, but also pay you a regular, solid, and secure return.
Well, get specific if you can. Could you name a few?
I'll give you one of my favorites. It's a mastered limited partnership, or an MLP for short. An MLP is an investment vehicle that anyone can buy with a regular stock account with a brokerage firm. However, it's not the same as a stock. They're very tax advantaged and typically offer 5 to 8% annual yields, which is huge in this market. Boardwalk Pipeline Partners is one such company. Its symbol is BWP. It's based out of Houston, transports natural gas. Currently, it pays shareholders a solid 7.5% yield. In fact, since 2005, when you factor in its price appreciation, this company has averaged a 17% average annual return. That's amazing performance in a period that includes the 2008 crash. And it should only get better as natural gas prices recover. So, to my point, this company, Boardwalk Pipeline Partners, is secure because it's in the business of shipping fuel, and it offers a nice return of a solid 7.5% dividend with a track record of appreciating year after year.
Tom, this seems like a great pick. For our viewers, that is Boardwalk Pipeline Partners, symbol BWP. Again, BWP. Tom, I want you to stick with us for a few moments and watch this next clip, and then I want to get your take on it. After we view it, I think you'll know why I asked you to stay.
Absolutely. I love the film.
Our next excerpt from Generation Zero is undoubtedly the most disheartening of all. We'll show it to you in a moment, but I want to tell you about the second gift I alluded to earlier. In addition to the DVD, Generation Zero, Tom has agreed to give you, with this offer, a copy of his book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns. It reveals 24 specific investments to secure high income in a low-yield world. Here are just a few examples of what you'll discover in this book. An IRA-suited investment that mails you monthly payouts that add up to a solid 10.2% return per year. A unique financial vehicle that is required to forfeit 90% of its profit to shareholders. Tom calls this one the unintended Bernanke special, and it currently shells out 14% per year. A BDC, or business development company, that delivers fat cash payouts of 9.9%. I'll walk you through how to get both of these gifts following this final clip from Generation Zero. But right now, you're about to see how the privatization of profits and the nationalization of risk corrupted capitalism and left most Americans out in the financial cold.
It's really important to understand how incestuous the political system got to be in both parties.
Both parties demand the socialization, if you will, the nationalization of risk, and the privatization of profit.
Starting really in the period after the Reagan presidency, There really became one political party in the United States, the incumbents. And they relied on the major financial institutions of Wall Street to fund their political campaigns and let them control the agenda. And the result has been, under Bush and Clinton and Bush, a series of giveaways to the corporations that are absolutely horrific.
And here you had Wall Street, which had in the past been reliably Republican, suddenly transformed into a Democratic stronghold. So the Democratic Party was now the party of Davos. This is the party of global elites, of billionaires, of financiers who believe that we need to transform American society, fit it into this global economic system. Pure capitalism is about loss and profit. What we have today is a hybrid. We have a capitalism that essentially allows for the privatization of profit. Privatization of profit means that when things go well, I get to accumulate the profits. The profits go to me. I get to keep the home in the Hamptons. I get to keep the private jet. I get to keep the bonuses. I get to keep the overseas bank account. If things go bad, if I take risks that are dangerous and my investment goes south, you, the middle class, are going to pick it up. This is the perfect arrangement for the party of Davos and for international financiers because they have nothing to lose. There's no downside, it's all upside.
And the loser in all of this is the working man and woman, the middle class of this country. The middle class, I believe, to be the foundation of this country.
If that's not infuriating, I don't know what is. Tom, you were on Wall Street during this era. Can you give us an insight on what it was like?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is precisely the reason I walked away from Wall Street. In fact, I managed several multi-million-dollar accounts, attended Manhattan cocktail parties, and benefited big time. But a few years before our economy collapsed on September 18, 2008, I walked away from it. I mean, I could see the writing on the wall. And in my opinion, the entire system's rigged. Investors take all the risk. Wall Street gets paid from fees and transactions, and if they fail, the American taxpayer's left to foot the bill. So I walked. My wife and I had to adjust our living standard to accommodate, but it was the right thing to do. And as a result, we were able to avoid the 2008 collapse that we're discussing today.
Tom, you're founder and editor of The High Income Factor. What exactly is this publication, and how is it different from what you experienced at Wall Street?
The High Income Factor is a monthly publication that's delivered by email and mail. And within its pages, I reveal what is truly happening in the markets and how readers can navigate investments safely while getting a rewarding income. I also have a model portfolio that explains what to buy and, more importantly, when you should sell the positions. It's extremely easy to follow, and the great part is subscribers ultimately decide which investments are best for them. I mean, I'm a big believer in self-reliance. And when you take it upon yourself to do these things, not relying on some greedy broker or, Wall Street fat cat, but the reader decides, you gain control of your financial future. And I'll help you do it.
Tom, thank you for your insight today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, here's how to get a free copy of Generation Zero on DVD and the Tom Hutchinson book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns. In just moments, a button will appear below this presentation. By clicking on it, you can claim your free gifts with this special offer. But first, I want to explain in detail this powerful opportunity. Please listen closely. Now, you're clearly an astute investor, a person who doesn't sit back and let their financial future be determined by those who think they know better. You've taken valuable time to learn to become a better investor and to empower yourself. So because you took initiative, we're extending to you right now a special courtesy rate to audition a one-year subscription to Tom Hutchinson's newsletter, The High Income Factor. And it comes with a 100% risk-free guarantee. More on that in a moment. First, let me give you a glimpse of what you will see in this newsletter. Recent issues of The High Income Factor have uncovered a unique investment that exploits our low-rate environment to lock in high income. You see, it actually allows you to be a landlord of sorts without any of the hassle. All you have to do is sit back and collect the 20% annual yield. That's right, the 20% annual yield it currently divvies out to shareholders. Another issue reveals a cash-rich health company that made investors money in 2008 while the stock market tanked 37% and pays a steady 6% dividend. You will also discover a tax-advantaged investment vehicle that profits from the global energy addiction and pays shareholders a satisfying 9.16% yield. And there is so much more. Now, in addition to these powerful monthly issues, Tom will also send you a weekly email update every Wednesday, so you're never left in the dark wondering what to do with your investments. And here's the best part of this limited time offer. When you order today, you will automatically lock in our 100% satisfaction guarantee. Here's how it works. During the first 4 months of your subscription, if for any reason you are unsatisfied with the high income factor, we will issue you not a partial but a full refund of your subscription price. No questions asked. So there's no risk, no obligation to keep the newsletter, and you get to have everything you saw today, the DVD Generation Zero and the book Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns, absolutely free. They are our gift to you. So how much is that subscription price? Well, people used to pay thousands of dollars to receive Tom's guidance, but you won't be asked to spend anywhere near that today. Now, normally subscribers to Tom's newsletter pay $199 per year, but we won't ask you to pay that either. In fact, today you will get the chance to lock in a 1-year subscription for only $99. That just comes out to 27 cents a day. And as mentioned, by ordering right now, you lock in our 100% satisfaction guaranteed policy. And I mean it. We must completely satisfy your financial needs. So, over the next 4 months, if you don't drastically increase your investment income, if your jaw doesn't drop when you discover how easy it is to rack up secure payouts from these little-known investments, and if this newsletter doesn't get you thrilled about investing again because you are taking control of your financial future, simply call, fax, or email us, and you get every penny sent back to you immediately. Look, most experts agree that this crisis will last another 20 years. Tom is a bit more optimistic. He thinks it'll be another 15 years. That's at least 15 more years of out-of-control federal spending, rampant inflation, Wall Street shenanigans, and a volatile stock market. Essentially, 15 more years of financial chaos. And if things don't change in Washington, this current economic chaos could very well be the new normal for us. But with Tom as your guide, you can stop the anxiety, end the uncertainty, and regain control of your financial future. Just listen to what a few of his current subscribers of the high income factor are saying. Clay S. from Blairsville, Georgia says, "You laid out the argument to purchase each investment that was not only compelling, but triggered action on my part. Strong work." Troy B. out of Copperopolis, California proclaims, "I want you by my side as we move into the future." And Peter H. from Silver Lake, Ohio boasts, "The High Income Factor is the most relevant investment newsletter I have encountered." Now is your chance to join these successful investors for only $99. And again, this offer comes with our 100% satisfaction guaranteed policy. At any point during the first 120 days of your subscription, if you do not like what you see for any reason, simply contact us and we will refund your $99 subscription. So watch Generation Zero. Read Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns. Review the next 4 issues of the High Income Factor newsletter. If you are not completely blown away by the secure investments you will have within your grasp, let us know. Simply go to www.thefinalturning.com and accept this limited time offer. It really is that easy. Remember, September 18, 2008 changed the world forever, for the worse. And things likely won't recover for at least another 15 years. But today, everything changes for you for the better. You're stronger, more secure, empowering financial future starts right now. Again, simply go to www.thefinalturning.com to claim your free gifts, while supplies last, of course, and lock in your 100% risk-free subscription to the High Income Factor. We hope you have found this presentation informative, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Here's to your financial future and freedom.